I've been talking about how I'm surprised at the things I'm learning through this virtual teaching. And to be honest, in my classes, in the classroom classes, I rarely used markers because a marker, once it's on there, and everybody colors with markers. And I was like, yeah, ho, hum. And then a whole new world opened up with me by experimenting and trying new things. This class is going to show you another way to use markers in a different way to have a beautiful piece of artwork. Come join me. Like I told you earlier, I didn't use markers that often, and I guess I never understood the varied things you can do with them, and I just can't stop doing it. So you're going to learn everything I learned with markers. Today I thought I would do not really a scientific experiment, but using baking soda. I know when you use it with vinegar it explodes. I wanted to see what happens when you mix it with colored pencils. Miss Linda did it again with my markers. These are thin, so I just assumed they were colored pencils. These are the colors that I used for my first example I'll show you. And if you notice, they're all brown tones. I know everyone doesn't have a variety of markers. So my second one, I used our traditional standard primary and secondary colors for it. So you're going to learn 2 for 1. The first thing we're going to do is take our water and mix about a half of a teaspoon of baking soda in there. Now it's not going to do anything because it's water. It would be exploding all over if it was something else, because there's a chemical reaction with baking soda. Bicarbonate of soda. I looked it up to try to find some interesting, I don't know, facts for you or reasons why it does what it does. And besides vinegar and things with acid in it, there really wasn't anything pertaining to what I'm teaching you today. So we have our paper, we have our markers. This was my first experiment. I actually used the markers and then used water and baking soda. Check that out. I was like, holy camoli, that is amazing. It looks like wood grain no matter how you look at it. You can see some of the blues came out because, you know, primary colors are the colors that make brown. And then I thought, well, everyone doesn't have all these because there are a variety of browns. So I'll set this one off to the side. And these are the markers that most of us have. Our primary, oopsie, and secondary. These 2 browns are actually different, so they're different companies, and I thought I'd use them both. And this is the result that I got from using our primary colors. It looks more of a mahogany type wood, but the same thing. Look at how it spreads and moves and the colors combine. There's a little, you can hear it. There's a little bit of baking soda that dries on the top, but I believe that has something to do with the effect that we're going to achieve today. So if you're ready, I'm ready. I'll start out with the browns. And, today we don't need a cushion, so I'll take that one piece out. This takes no time at all. And if you think you can do wood grains, just think about what else you can do. I think I'll put the knot down here this time. It's just a matter of scribbling. Or if I was using the colored pencils I mentioned earlier, it would be scrumbling. Every time I do a lesson, I will bring up things we have learned before. Because that's how I know why I had this here. If I want to go off the end, I don't want this all over everything. Lucky Miss Linda buys paper in reams of 500 because with my experiments and my trials and my ideas, I go through a lot of paper, which is not a problem. So we have our base right there. I'm going to put this here. Now you're going to see the difference in browns, how deep this is. Whoopsie. Mrs. Linda is a whoopsie. It's a little stronger. And you want a variety of colors in this. We can move this guy now. Otherwise I'll get the marks of it underneath. And I don't want to go completely off the end. I want it to look a little rustic. All right, we have our browns on. Now we know if we mix red, yellow, and blue together, we're going to get brown. So it doesn't matter what colors I use over this once we use our magic baking soda and water. Looks like a lot, but it's not going to be when the colors start to blend or meld together. It's a new word. Melding means when something combines, becomes one. The first one, I don't believe I used too much blue. I was a little afraid. I used some green because sometimes there's a little moss on our wood, especially if this happens to be a trunk. Put it by my red, and you know what that's going to do is make a deeper brown. Complementary colors deepen each other. This is fun because there's no rules. You can just get a little wild with your colors. Probably should have put yellow on. I'll move this first because it's going to pick up the colors. But then again, you can wipe them off. Never enough color when you're doing something like this. You cannot add to it after it's done, so I believe we just need a little bit of blue here, and we can get to my artistic, not really scientific. If you notice, I'm doing a little more details with the darker. Get that wood tone. Because wood isn't all like this. This looks more like a pattern for fabric. This is going to give some definition. I haven't been going crazy with markers. I just cannot believe the things they can do. They're not just for coloring. I'm always like, well, once you put a marker down, you just got that dark color or straight up color, and there's nothing much you can do to it. Okay, that looks great. I believe I need a little orange down here. Miss Linda always thinks she needs a little more. Guess I don't believe in that less is more. All right, let's just give this a little bit more. Again, using my hand tools. All right, I'm ready. So this has been sitting. If you don't have a paintbrush, you can just make your own paintbrushes. You can just swirl this around. You can see that this is still on the bottom. I need to mix it around. You can hear it, it's kind of gritty. All right, ready? Here goes the experiment. Oop, there, look at it, it's moving. There's nothing more exciting than color doing its own thing. And I'm not going to leave any of the negative space. I'm going to go right to the end. Too much water like right there. And I dribbled a little bit. Pick it up. There. You want water, but you don't want it to be saturated to where it's dripping like that. Now in about, I'd say, 5 minutes, this is going to be spectacular. You can see it moving as I'm sitting here. I'll take this brush out of the way. Once it's done, you're going to see these little valleys of color. You're going to see some of the red pop through. The blue is actually not as strong as I assumed, but right through here, you're starting to see the wood grains. Do more than one at a time when you're doing this because you can let one dry, try new colors. Every time I did it, this one, pulling the blues away, which is why I didn't use a blue on the other one. I thought it would be too much blue. This one had more water on it. It really has a watercolor quality to it. This one, extremely intense. Now look, I can't move this too much, or it'll run right off the paper. It's one thing when you're using water. Be careful when you move your paper, it'll move. This one right here, it has more of a green tone, and I'm actually gonna fold this a little bit for you. Look at the difference. Same color combination, put on differently, and it's not even done. We'll have a picture of it for you later. Practice, enjoy, and don't forget to use that baking soda. Thanks for joining me today. Go to artwithmisslinda.com for more classes.